What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your guy Troublematic, and we're back with another banger, another Matic Mondays, and I am your guy, Troublematic, as I said, and I have my wonderful co-host Tiffany on one of these directions. How's it going, Tiffany?
Busy, 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 but good.
Yes, busy is good. Busy is good. And if this is your first time here on Matic Mondays, welcome. If it's your returning visit, what's going on? Thanks for coming back and checking us out. Definitely like and subscribe, share, hit the like button, notification button, all that good stuff. It helps the channel, helps me grow, helps Matic Mondays grow, it helps Sports and Heels grow. Talking about Sports and Heels, what's going on with Sports and Heels?
Well, I leave Friday to head to Eugene, Oregon, known as Tracktown, USA, for the World Championships, where I will be working with the athletes. And so I'll be there for the next 10 days, starting Friday, do a couple of days in Portland, and then heading on to Eugene. So I'm ladies will understand I am vacation prep. So I got a week full of transformation that will happen so that I'm ready for the next 10 days. So yeah, lots
Okay.
of prep stuff going, including washing and conditioning the mane today so I can blow dry it and get it ready for tomorrow where I transform into Beyonce.
Okay. Got you. I know, was it a week or two? Is the world champions?
They're 10 days. So it starts
10
Friday
days.
the 15th and will conclude on Sunday the 24th. So I fly into Portland Friday morning, and then I fly out Sunday evening. I'm taking the red eye back, and I'll be working. So
Oh, that was my next question. Are you going to take advantage of the remote work?
yes, a little around my World Championship schedule. Yes, I will be taking advantage of some remote work, but it's a big schedule, so um, I'll get a few hours in every day.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think people from years ago still was remote working in some form or fashion. You know, people be like, "I go on my laptop or whatever," um, but it helps with the hours, PTO, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I could have honestly taken PTO, but I figured if I work EST time still, although I'll be on PST
Mhm.
time, that it still gives me enough time. I mean, this is not a party trip. Like I'm not going to be partying. It's not that kind of trip. So there won't be a whole lot of late nights for me. I think most of the events end about um, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Uh,
Mhm.
which puts me right around the time I go to bed every night anyway, EST. So um, yeah, we're gonna make it do what it do. This
That
is what being a remote worker is about, is being able to fit in the things that you really want to do with the things that you have to do. And that's what I'm doing.
that's interesting. You brought that up. That may be like a on the spot conversation here we're gonna have because working on it Pacific Standard Time, the West Coast, it does actually give you it's tough. It's
Yes.
tough because you got to wake up at
5 a.m.
a.m.
and stay up and then go work the meet. Um,
in the afternoon.
in the afternoon up until 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is midnight Eastern time, and then get up
Mhm.
5 a.m. to work, and then do that all over again for an entire week. Which is why I said it's not a vacation necessarily. Um, it's not a vacation, not at all.
Yes, because I think I've worked twice in California remotely. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. I actually party. It was a party for me. I went out after work. I mean, I didn't have an event or nothing to do, but I went out after work and not party, but just went to a few bars and stuff like that. But I noticed my body works better on Pacific time for some reason. I like because I'm always up. I'm up to 1, 2 o'clock. Here on the East Coast anytime. That's like 10, 11, 12 over there.
Yeah.
So you know that's interesting. But actually, I had an interview the other day, and somebody was asking me, you don't mind working on Pacific hours? I was like, yeah, that probably work. Because waking up early is tough for me, but staying up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I be up working on some content or something. But that was like a little sidebar. But today we are going to talk about the big leap. A lot of people trying to leave. They calling it Blaxit. From
Yep.
my friend Tiffany tells me.
Black exit.
She stays in all that TikTok news and stuff. So I think what you actually sent me something too about that. But tell us about Blaxit a little bit more.
Well, black folks leaving. They done had enough. They done had enough of what's happening here. For those of you who are aware of history, it's creeping its way back into repeating itself with some of the things that we're of late have seen, some of the treatment that we've seen, and some folks are just not. This is a big planet, and there's a lot of places in which you're going to have to deal with something everywhere you go. But I think people are deciding to make choices on what they are able to deal with and what they're not, and they're just looking for other options, and they're taking those other options. They're doing what people come to the United States to do: is come find peace. They're looking for joy, peace of mind, maybe to get out of the rat race of, we are a country that operates differently when it comes to working and healthcare and gun control and a lot of different issues and things. So I think people are just finding other options for themselves, and so they're calling it Blaxit, because a lot of black folks are just like, I'm out. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to look and see what else is out there, and they're leaving. They're making plans and finding other places to live, and then they're going on social media and they're telling about their experiences. They're letting you know what it's like. They're letting you know what kind of hiccups they've run into. They're letting you know, if they're happy. They're letting you know if it's safe. I'm seeing a lot of Black women who are leaving. I'm seeing a lot of families, husband, wife, children, leaving, either living nomadically, which means they're going from place to place, or they're leaving and picking a sole location to live in. And I've seen places a lot. I've seen in Mexico. I actually have a cousin who lives in Mexico, lives in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And she's almost 59 years old, able to make a living there and live happy and comfortably. So, I mean, a lot of folks are choosing a different way of life for themselves, and they're doing that in other countries.
Yeah. It makes me think about first time. First time Trump came on, everybody was like, "I'm about to leave this mother," and nobody really believed him. He ain't going nowhere. But
I think now they are.
I don't know. It depends. A lot of people talk that talk, man, but are they really gonna go through with it? So that leads us to our first topic, which is research. You got to do your research. You got YouTube, you got TikTok, Instagram, a lot of reels. Everybody wants to, be a little expert and talk about their experiences, whether they've done it or not. Um, I know Tiffany, when you brought this up for his ideals, I was like, yeah. The main thing to me is it boils down to two things: it's cost and visa.
Yeah.
Um, because really the visa is the main thing. Because what you need in order to be able to stay there, you can say you want to go all you want, but usually you're gonna get 90 days to 180 days. And
Yeah.
after that, you either have to leave or you have to do a visa run, which is where you go for a short allotment of time. Maybe let's say in Mexico, some people go to Guatemala, which is the next country next door,
Mm-hmm.
neighboring country. You go there for like a week, or I mean, not a week, 1 day, 2 days. I think and can come back. Then that starts it back over with 90 days, 180 days. Actually, I think you can get 6 months in Mexico. Colombia, you can go to Ecuador or fly to Panama, come back. I think it's in a calendar year though. So if within that calendar year you only got 6 months there, with that's including the extension. So it's a lot of little things you have to do the research. You have
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, there's going to be stuff everywhere. So it's not just researching the cost. It's not just understanding the cost. There's like and he's talking about cost. He's talking about the cost of living, just like you would if you were like moving from, Ohio to Atlanta. You need to know how much, if you're going to be renting, how much is it going to cost you to rent? How much do you need first and last month's deposit? You need to know what the cost of living per month is going to be: food, gas. If you're planning on taking a vehicle, you know, what city are you going to go to? Which city are around it? What neighborhood will you live in that city? It's like you really need to do a thorough search before you mess around and be on the south side of Mexico or the south side of
to,
some city.
which
You know,
that leads me to one thing that I did leave out was experience. I think all that falls on the experience.
yeah,
And what, like I said, I saw this girl. Shout out to Stephanie Perry. I saw her YouTube channel, and she got like a strong black woman movement over there, man. And those women were talking about the safety. I think she got a one video about work. I think she kind of just drilled it down to like the worst place for Black Americans, the best place for Black Americans.
yeah, I
But
see.
all of it still went about being safe. You
Yes.
know, um, I think it's a natural thought, to be safe.
Well, it is for women. Women are we're constantly aware of our safety.
Well, yes, I think outwardly, definitely, women are very outward about safety. Men are concerned about safety too. Because we are the protectors. You got to, in order to be a protector, you're thinking of something in your head, like,
Yeah.
you know, I got to keep my head on the swivel. Women don't keep their head on the swivel. You could easily walk up on a woman and get a woman, but guys will
Oh,
usually guys,
some some women.
because y'all be in your phone all day, every day, walking.
Trust and believe. Well, I don't know about where you at, but where I'm at, the women I know, I could be in my phone and trust and believe I can feel somebody walk up on me. Ain't nobody walking
No.
up on me. Ain't nobody walking up on me.
Ah,
Ain't nobody walking
man, I see it all the time. I see women walking and bumping and stuff on that phone. I said, boy, I tell my daughter, like, put that phone down and watch where you going. Because she just be having her head on the phone. But I can see grown women too, just walking and bumping into people and stuff, and like, or just sitting there on a bench or something, and just like.
Well, I think for women, we've always been raised to be on guard of your protection. I mean, again, granted, cell phones have, you know, become a distraction in lots of scenarios. But for the most part, we're always taught to pay attention to your surroundings, understand where you are, where you're going. That's why we're taught not to go drink at night by yourself too much, because you need to be alert in case you get approached. When we are walking from the Hell, from your car to in the gas station, there's a group of guys standing outside. We are very much when we pull in that gas station, we already are got our little radars up, or do up, because we know we need to be on alert.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely in the nighttime, it's I see women vulnerable in times where they have their guard down, which is in the
Yeah.
daytime or especially at night. They always women are naturally going to be more alert at night.
But women won't travel someplace where they're deemed where it's deemed not safe. And not safe is broad. It's not just that
Yes,
you will be
that's very
attacked.
subjective.
Yeah, it's not just somebody will attack you or harm you. Sometimes it's just being safe from verbal assault. Um, and that is an important factor when a woman is deciding where to move, even just where to visit. Because there's certain things that we just don't want to, we don't, no one wants to experience it, but we don't want to experience being verbally attacked. Um, we don't. I saw a story on social media. These ladies went to Egypt. They were at the temples, and they were taking a tour, and someone walked up to them and asked if she could take a picture with them, and they said no, and the lady proceeded to take pictures of herself standing next to this group of Black women, and while it wasn't, she did ask for permission, and they did tell her no. She just didn't respect that, and the situation wound up getting handled. But to us, that's a safety issue.
Mhm.
Someone following you to your hotel or Airbnb is why when you meet people out, or I'm a solo traveler. I was traveling by myself this week. Um, I other than the fact that I'm telling whoever's watching this YouTube.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, but if I wasn't and I was at a bar and people ask me, "Oh, you're here by yourself?" I don't brag that I'm here by myself, because you never know who's listening, knowing that, okay, she's by herself, she's traveling, doesn't have a car, or she's parked in a parking lot, she's in a city she's not familiar with. Those are things that we are mindful of when we're out. So obviously we're going to be mindful of that when we're doing our research. So safety is always going to be a really big concern for most women.
Right, right, right. I had a lot of things I was thinking about when you saying that. Oh, because safety would say subjective. Like I know in like Colombia, Brazil, South American countries, that phone is. Let me tell you, the cell phone, the Apple. I have a Samsung S22 Ultra, it's a very expensive phone. All these I mean, you can get an older refurbished phone that's probably like $300-400, and it looks like a gold bar in your hand to them. Like you got a bar of gold. Like it looks like that up to your hand, up to your ear with that.
Yeah.
So as a woman, if a woman says, "Oh, it's unsafe. It's not safe in Colombia," blah 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 blah, and you just took what she said, right? But you went and followed her and said, "Hey, what did you mean by it wasn't safe?" Well, somebody stole my cell phone. Would you declare that as it being safe or not safe? Would you say would you in her interpretation of it not being safe because her cell phone got stolen? Would you say the same thing, or would you say, "Oh man, that's just a cell phone. I can get another one"? What's your? I'm just curious about that. I'm just thinking about that.
Uh, uh, Again, I mean, it's just,
Or pickpocketed. I know in Spain they get pickpocketed a lot too.
yeah.
For that too. So what's is that serious? Safety issues, pickpocketing, cell phone stolen. Of course,
I,
like knife or gun.
I'd say it's serious only because most of us keep all of our travel documents, you know, our banking information. You know, I use my phone for my hotspot when I'm not on Wi-Fi. I mean, we use our phones for a lot, and so I am mindful not to bring my phone out. I'm old school, so I'll print out a map before I leave. I do a research before I leave to stay anywhere. I research the neighborhood around me, so I know where the grocery store is. I know where the pharmacy is. I know where, if I'm driving a vehicle, I know where the gas station is. Like, I go to Google Earth, Google Maps, and I go to what it looks like on the street. And I actually walk the streets on my computer. So I can kind of familiarize myself with my surroundings so I'm not so lost when I get there. And that's just for safety. That's no, so I know if I need a hospital, if I need, like I said, a pharmacy, if I need, grocery, gas, any of those things that kind of come up on a trip, I know I kind of have an idea on where I'm going to be and how I can get there safely. Because I also do that, I stay up on what kind of travel hacks people keep up with in order to keep their items safe. So, for example, um, there's this little wallet thing you can wear that you can zip up, put your money in, your cell phone, your credit card, blah, blah, blah. And then you wear it like in your underwear so that you don't have to have all of that stuff out in a purse or a bag or a backpack. So if those things get taken, something takes that, they're not taking the things that are the most valuable to you. I also learned from YouTube to have a non-activated debit card with you. So if they ask for your debit card, you give them that non-activated one and they're running away from you thinking they got away with something, but they're not getting your actual debit card. You know what I mean? Same thing with wads of cash. I might keep a bigger wad of cash on my body in that little wallet I talked about, but then have a smaller amount of cash in, say, a pocket. So if they ask me for money, they're only going to get $20 in singles, maybe, or they're going to get a five and a couple of singles, and that's it. I'm not worried about them robbing me, and I don't have anything. So, I mean, those things are enough to where it's happened enough to where people are, like I mentioned about not telling people that you're traveling alone, that it happens enough to where let's just do what we can to, have a good time, but take some additional precautions. And I don't do that just out of the country. I do that here too, because I am not oblivious to the fact that Americans will rob you too. So it don't just happen out of the country. It happens here too. So I travel with those same, and here I am on YouTube telling everybody where I keep my stuff. But yeah, right. I got the hands too. So you ain't getting nothing from me. In case anybody's watching this thinking the other way, you're not getting nothing from me without a battle. I may be bloody, but you're going to remember not to take nothing from me. I just have to put that disclaimer out there because I'm out here telling my business.
I know you are getting a little wordy there, but it's okay. You're passionate about it.
Yeah, man.
That's all that matters. Trying to help people out. All right, well, we're going to move on to okay, so with moving, you're gonna need that remote job. You're going to need that remote job unless you're a digital nomad, which you don't work for a corporation, organization. You kind of work for yourself. You may work on behalf of organization, getting a 1099, and that's all that other legal stuff there. But if you want to still work where you're at, your company has pushed you to work from home, or they transition to work from home. You need to know the types of work from home and what are your limitations.
Yeah.
So I saw a cool breakdown this girl did, which I said, yeah, I approve the way. Some of the wording was a little off on some things, but we'll go over it, which I can share right now. And here we go. So I snatched this from Lady Name channel. It's a travel OD.
Okay.
She had the breakdown here. Can you see that pretty? I can zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Better, much better.
Yeah. All right. So she had so on every job, and I see it a lot now too, where you didn't really see it before, where the roles, let's say they had business analysts. Mm-hmm. If it was remote, they would label it as remote in brackets or whatever. But now they have it where they have it on site. You never look at these so don't you either going to assume that you're either going to know that it's on site or remote, one way
Yeah.
or the other. Or to assume if you don't see anything, it's going to be on site.
Oh,
But
it's
if
gonna
you
be on
see
site. Yeah.
remote, it's definitely remote. They're going to identify one way or the other. So I haven't seen remote worldwide before. Have you seen remote worldwide before?
Only on my favorite platform, which is
TikTok.
TikTok. Absolutely.
Okay.
They don't call it worldwide. They say global. Global remote jobs.
Okay. So she says they can hire candidates from anywhere in the world. I thought that was more like just what the company is. It's a remote worldwide, remote, global remote company, but it could be just different lingo.
Yeah.
Second, work from anywhere. I've seen this before. I think Google has it on their Google, the Google search engine, that you can go into Google and put remote work, and then they will give you like a little subset, like search engine for Google, and it will say usually underneath the job it'll say work from anywhere. I think that's more like a drop down or a section in Google Jobs. So it says you can travel, but doesn't always mean you can be from anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we have remote, optional, okay, friendly. I haven't seen that before on the job posting. Company isn't fully remote. They'll basically make the exception for some candidates. That's probably like startup type jobs.
Yes.
Startup companies might be.
Yeah. I would say so.
Definitely have seen this one here. Hybrid.
Yes.
The trap. I need to put right beside it.
The
Trap.
the trap.
The trap. And put a little piece of cheese by it. But
I've seen, and literally this recently, I've seen hybrid work from home 4 days a week. I mean, one day a week.
one day in the office.
One day a week. No, you get to work from home one day a week.
Oh wow! I've seen one day in the office, which I still like. Nah,
Nah.
trap. Still a trap.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a trap. Only one day. Nah, I'm cool. I ain't even doing one day. Shoot, I'm gonna move the thing. Next we have remote first, used to describe a company or their mentality values. These companies offer the most work-life balance and benefits. I haven't seen that before. I think this is a mixture of job description,
Yeah.
titles, subtitles, and company standards, maybe. Um, so yeah, remote first. You describe the company. That sounds like a little mini trap. Uh,
Yeah.
async, short for asynchronous, and stands for how they communicate. No real time communication or immediate responses means flexible schedule. Hmm. Flex, the old flex schedule.
Yeah, flex schedule, and different places use them differently. Like I have had an employer where if you had to leave for a doctor's appointment or something, pick your kid up from school, you know, log off for an hour and a half or 2 hours for whatever, you were able to do that without having to like, you know, you could make it up somewhere else. You didn't have to worry about that clock in, clock out mentality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or if you have to take 3 hours off, you don't have to worry about, oh, I need to use a half day of PTO and schedule it. Like it's not like that. They allow you to work that, you can work earlier in the morning if you want to flex that time and use that time then, or later in the evening to catch up. You have that ability as long as it was under 4 hours. So they were pretty liberal with I hate using that term liberal. They were pretty flexible on how you could use your flex time. They just as long as you got your work done, they didn't give a damn how you really um, how you use your time. Which
Hmm.
we're all adults. I wish more companies practice that, saying listen, we know you guys have lives outside of what you do to make money to pay bills. And we know that stuff happens. And for the most part, most people are going to sit down and do their work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and most people aren't going to abuse that as long as you get the work done. Just get your work done. Doesn't matter what time you actually got it done, as long as it's done and turned in or submitted or whatever, as long as your work is
Mm-hmm.
done. So if you have to do it at 7 o'clock from 7 to 9 in the morning and then log off and come back on at 11, we're okay with that. Uh,
Right, right.
but other companies, they have like a flex bucket that you can pull your flex time from and use those buckets. I mean, everybody's got different ways of using it. It depends on your manager and your handbook. So you always want to double check those things before you try to utilize it. And make sure you ask for specifics. If you're interviewing with the company, obviously recruiter's not going to know. So make sure you go to the next, if you make it to the next step, that you're asking the employer to elaborate on how they implement your flex time policy. What does it look like? Give me an example, or give me several examples of how I can use flex time.
Yeah. Remote work definitely promotes flex time because I'm well. I mean, just working. I mean, you do work more than you would work in the office. That is definitely a known because you're balancing life. It's the ultimate work-life balance. To stop and go to the gym maybe, and gym session goes over a little longer. Then you work a little bit longer in the afternoon when you come back.
Yeah.
So the last one is just straight work from home, different from remote. All you need if you don't want to travel, if you're a stay-at-home parent, or if you have a disability or illness, to name a few cases. And yes, that is always the case with work from home. So many benefits with working from home. Um,
Yep.
with just if you got, like I always say, it don't have to really always be about travel. It can be about
Living life. Hello.
living life, taking care of your kids, taking care of your loved ones. I think I was saying too with the girl Stephanie Perry. She was saying that um, I was reading the comments on one of her remote working live streams or whatever, and this girl was like, "Yeah, remote work has changed my life. I'm able to be at home when my son gets off the school bus. You know, there's a lot of single parents out here that got to go to work, and you got latchkey kids got to stay at home by themselves, and they may not be 13, which is in Georgia's a legal age, 13 to be a latchkey kid, but
Yeah.
they may be 10, 11. Little Tay Tay may be, getting out that bus and got to go home and fix his own little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Don't answer that door. Don't answer that door. I don't care who knock on it.
Or they can have a old diabetic dog like me who had surgery last week and was able to, take care of him and, um, field his dirty looks from being hungry, like right now. So
Oh man.
you get to live your life. You don't have to wait till 5 o'clock to do your laundry. Like I go to the gym on my lunch break to do cardio on cardio days. Like if it's nice outside, I get to go for a walk in the middle of the day, which is, or I get to, have a nice cup of coffee in the morning and take my time and not have to rush and worry about, you know, putting on makeup, doing hair, getting dressed, getting in the car, locking the dog up, driving 30 minutes to wherever the office is, getting in the office, BSing for 15 minutes before I start my day. Every time I go to the water cooler, I got to hear somebody's conversation about politics and this and that. I appreciate the fact that I can live my life around my work, what I do to pay the bills. It's not my sole function for being here. So I
Right.
get to invest in my family, time with my family. I had an emergency last week or the week before. I was able to leave, use flex time and leave and, go deal with that situation with my family and come back and finish my workday. Like, and still able to do other things. Like life is not about just working. And I think people are really realizing that with with the Blaxit and different kind of remote work, I think people are just realizing that I only got a short window of life, so I need to enjoy it and figure out how I can do other things and then work to pay bills. Like you can do both; it's possible, and that's why we're here to kind of show you and give you opportunities to see and tips to help you look for work from home or remote work or stay in a remote environment and maximize what you've already been doing.
Yes, definitely. And to protect you from all the foolery, which that brings us to the next topic. Don't be fooled by some of these influencers and TikTok. Um, just a lot of bad stuff out here, man.
Yeah,
A lot of
bad
really
advice.
bad advice out here. Um, and if I send you anything, it's about somebody talking crazy about
Yeah,
remote work, project management, how to be
digital
a
nomad.
PM, how to be a digital nomad. Just it just irks me because this stuff ain't easy, man.
No.
It's not. It's not what people say that and she the one I'm always she lives in Tulum and she was I don't know whatever maybe she was now she's a PM and she just walks through these little hallways in Tulum and she's out on the beach and like oh yeah the good life and she got a cocktail and I'm like man stop now I'll stun a little bit I have some I have where I was working in well I wasn't really working there I was just making the picture or whatever but I had my laptop Cartagena, what you
Yeah.
call it, Dominican Republic,
Hmm.
you know, and it ain't like I'm just saying, hey, it could be you. This could be you. I didn't say what all I did to get there. That's where you got to come into the show and look at the show and and talk with us in the show in the chat. But the oh, it's so easy. It's not easy.
And
I'm just showing you I'm showing you the outcome. It could get like this. You can have it just like this, but you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in.
yeah, you do. And you just thought made me think of something because I was like, I want to, I'm going to be documenting my travels this week in the next for the next 10 days, and maybe it's time somebody post the truth. Maybe it's somebody show that this is what it's really like. Like you have to worry about the Wi-Fi. You got to make sure they can hear you on the calls. You got to make sure you still get this assignment in before you log off. Like it's not all rainbows and sunshine and cocktails. Like maybe that was for her, but for the most part, no, it's not like that. First of all, we're not having cocktails really until we really know we done doing what we're supposed to be doing, and nobody's gonna FaceTime, Zoom you, or or Teams call you. You know,
Right, but not even
we're not doing that on the. I'm not. I guess there's some people who are, but
but
it's a joke that people are doing it. But tell the truth of what it's really like. Like it can be a wonderful thing. It gives you a lot of flexibility in your life. But when you start presenting a narrative that it's a party life, you're not being truthful because it's not.
no, it's not. And see, that's what. See, you're talking about like while you're working remote. I'm talking about just the road to get there. Just the
Yeah.
and I was telling you as well about how people remote work is not a skill. It's not a skill. It's a benefit. It's a benefit that's given to you for said skills that you may have because of your position. I sent you the other day where the girl was like, I'm gonna teach you how to work remotely or whatever. And like, what you mean teach somebody how to work? Like, we are showing you how to get your lifestyle together for remote working, as you were just saying. Make sure the connection is good. But that's not showing you how to remote work. That's just showing you how to set up your environment so that you can remote work, in the best that you can with uploads and downloads and all that stuff. But she was like, "Yeah, I can remote work, optimize your resume, and for remote work." And I'm just like, "What? Like, how can you optimize somebody's resume for remote working? Like, they don't say, 'Hey, I got a remote role.' It's not like I have a remote role. They may tell me the role, and then I may ask, 'Is it remote?' Oh, okay, cool. But it's not like they don't lead with that. I got a remote work. I got some remote work for you." And you may be like, "Oh, okay, I'm available." Like, who says I'm available? Like, you need a car? Yeah, I need a car. All right, I got a car for you. Okay, cool. Like, it doesn't work like that. I got a fast car for you. Want? Yeah, I want it. All right, cool. Come on. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's a benefit. It is a benefit of, like, oh, we have 401k. Oh, we have 401k matching 100%. Oh, we have gym memberships,
or unlimited PTO. Like, those are, they're a benefit. It's a benefit. And I had a supervisor or manager tell me that it's not a benefit, it's a privilege. And it really is.
Well, yes.
It really is a privilege, which is why I think Don't Be Fooled is so important, because it's not a right. We talk a lot of trash about what we're not going to do. We both of us have said, I ain't going back in the office. I'm not doing no hybrid. I'm not going. But it really is a privilege to be working in a field and have the skill sets to be able to obtain a remote job. And I want to recognize that it is definitely a privilege, which is why you can't be fooled into. You have to understand the reality of what you're saying. You're telling someone that you're going to do your job from home, no matter what it takes.
Right. And another thing too is with that is that, they leading the sheep the wrong way. And that's like, my whole vision when I thought about this whole thing was that the one thing I don't want to lead people to is IT. It has become a lot easier. Even when I first came, I was a computer science major initially when I came to the great Carolina University back in 1997. And it was when we was compiling code C++, which you had to write it out, like manually write it out, where a lot of code now is like cut and paste, where you don't really have to write a lot. Most time you do if you're an engineer, but as an analyst, you don't really have to write a lot of this code. A lot of this code is already pre-formatted or whatever. Now, but it's still difficult. You need to know which situations to use that code or whatever for each scenario, right?
Yeah.
But how people make it seem like this remote world or remote role fits into this little lane right here, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit into that certain lane. It's a PM, developer, engineer. There's other roles that are remote and that people don't have to try to feel like they have to squeeze them. I deliver for Amazon. I want to lead this world. I got to get in that PM role. No. I want to be a cloud analyst. I want to be a project manager, and I don't have a degree, and I work in a credit card repair call center. You can't. I mean, I never said nothing is possible, but it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very discouraging, because I've met people that said, "Oh man, I was trying to do this, and man, it ain't work out." Because you trying to put not even a square peg, like the peg like an octagon, and you trying to fit it into a triangle hole. It's like you have a triangle with you somewhere in your skill set. It may be a little bigger, it may be a little smaller. You need to add a little bit more. take what you have and put it into that form that you're trying to get into. Don't throw all that away, or do you listen to TikTok? Oh, I need to take that 6-month boot class and I can get in there and make 6 figures. Oh, okay. Sign me up. They do that 6 months. And then
I think the biggest thing that I notice is that they give these companies and these organizations the benefit of the doubt. These people are still going to try to get all they can get out of you for nothing. So if you go in there trying to fit yourself into a square peg into a round hole, you're going to get taken advantage of. And you're going to be miserable. And you're going to find out real quick that what they told you, you're going to find out real quick that you got fooled. Because you believe that you went to this boot camp and somehow you miraculously passed all the interviews and got the offer and get in there day one. And they expecting you day one. Ain't no onboarding. I can tell you right now, there ain't no onboarding.
No.
They are expecting you to. They're gonna come to you and ask you, here's the thing. So what do you think is next? And you're gonna be looking like you got bamboozled, you got fooled because you thought this is on the job training, and then they're giving you other people's roles, and because you don't know the difference, you over here doing PM. I've had a client tell me, well, we need you to collect the requirements. And I'm not a business analyst. That's what you got a business analyst for. I can't be the collect requirements and be the scrum master and be the project manager.
And don't be this color. Oh, I don't think it's gonna work out.
So that's why we mean by don't be fooled. Like they're giving these organizations the benefit of the doubt, and they're telling you how wonderful it is to find these remote jobs, but they're not telling you that they're still gonna try to get you. Every day, they're gonna try you. Every day. Somebody gonna try you. They're gonna try you on your pay. They're gonna try you on your responsibilities. They're gonna tell you need to do above and beyond to get the promotions. They're gonna tell you, I'm just trying to tell you, it's still the same game no matter where you at. You just gotta be smart. That's why you need to do your research.
I think I need to do a pay show too. Like I always said I wanted to do I don't know. I try to keep people away from that there. That IT is a beast.
Yes, it is.
It is a beast. I told, who was I talking to the other day? One of my actually no, it was one of my old contracts, and my old director agreed with me. I said you gotta be a tad bit crazy to work in IT. He was like, yeah. You got the somewhat like a little bit of toxicity.
Oh man,
a little bit of crazy. Not like I just enjoy people just yelling or just doing crazy stuff or stuff that like, man, what are you thinking about? So you just got to enjoy, you got to be able to embrace it a little bit because you like it just a little bit, like man, this girl wear me out. She be stressing me out, man. But man, she so boy, she fired though, like. Man, you just as toxic as her. So it's just like it's a relationship that you have that I'm telling you some of the stuff I've seen in like directors cursing people out in board meetings. People's it's the same thing when I was working in the call center years ago. It's the same thing, but even worse. People making 6 figures. It's even worse. It's even more blatant. It's more in your face. And it's just like
I've seen executive management team tell developers they have to work after hours to get work done because they overgave them assignments to the point where they couldn't get one thing that they were expecting to be done. They couldn't get it done. They just didn't have the bandwidth, and basically told him he needs to work after hours to get it done.
And then you get with the people from the country of India that just dealing with Indian recruiters, co-workers, everything is just you have to be prepared for that because they Asians are in the ones from Asia too, the ones from like China and all them too. They can get testy with you too, and you like, did you just talk to me like that? Like, and it's just their culture. It's their culture. Is you can't be so. It's so much, like you have to kind of be ready for that. A book won't teach you. A 6-month boot camp class won't teach you. You have to be ready for all those clashes of cultures. It's crazy, but that's why you have us, man. You see something. People. I had a homie of mine that was asking me about wanting to be a developer, as in most advertised. The most there's two of them, the most glamorized, promoted roles on these like platforms is engineering and project manager
Program management.
Yeah, those two
I'm
roles.
starting to see Scrum Master here lately too.
Man, them Scrum Master ones, especially them little Gen Z Scrum Masters, I'd be like, this girl right here. I said, man, let me just delete. I mean, not delete, but move on to the next person. Like, dude. But anyway, yeah, those are the roles that are just highly promoted, but they are so misguided on those roles, man. You have to have a lot of experience. You have to have a lot of. I actually saw a girl today talk about test cases. Having your test cases, your projects examples. Like I have projects right here. I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably about 15 business requirement documents that I just actually happen to have right there, but I don't know why. But I think I know I was looking for something other. But yeah, I have those to show my work from years and documenting and all that stuff. You have to have that kind of stuff because there's so many imposters out there,
Yeah.
and you have to be able to, toot your horn a lot, toot your horn a lot. We're about to sum it up here. I know you sent me your friend Andrea Valeria.
I
No,
did.
no, not her, not her.
Oh no. I
Uh, what's her name? Where is Malika? Where's
yes.
Malika?
Malika. So I found Miss Malika on, shout out to Malika on TikTok. I told y'all YouTube and TikTok is where you want to go for information about working um, remote job opportunities, Brexit. People are doing the research for you. They're helping you do the research. They're walking you through their own process. And Malika left the United States, and she talks about how she did it and some of the things that she learned and some of her advice. So she gives advice about, if you're thinking about leaving the U.S. permanently, she's offering some great advice. And she's a Black woman, obviously. Her name's Malika. But yeah, let's watch her video because she gives some really great sound advice.
What you really want to do and what other opportunities you could have once you made the move. But first things first, let's start with your research and start with your things. Hi, I'm going to respond to this question as someone who has moved out of the USA twice in my life. So the first step that you want to do is decide where exactly you plan to go. Then you think like a long list of shows of potential countries based on your criteria, and also based on where you actually could feasibly go and like get into like where you can meet the visa requirements and could afford the cost of life. So that's gonna be your step one in terms of like doing all your research and figuring out where you actually want to go based on cost of living you can afford, where you can potentially get a visa, and then also like where you actually like might even like and want to live. Number two, you're going to need to save up a cushion for your moving expenses. You will have to calculate that based on, again, a variety of factors in terms of like where you're going, how much it costs to live there, how much it costs to move there, how much it would cost you to, I guess, like get rid of your current place or like break your lease or sell your house or whatever you have in the US. If you're interested in studying abroad, getting a student visa is like the easiest, lowest barrier way to get into a country. So you could start by doing like any kind of study abroad program, even if it's just a language full time, you can still get a student visa and move. Also, teaching English is a very in-demand skill in a lot of places, and the main thing that you need is just to be able to be a native English speaker to qualify at minimum. And again, those programs will all be different based on the country where you're going and your skill set and your background. But those are just like two different ways that you can kind of get started in terms of looking for a job. And even if you don't really care about teaching English, you don't really want to, it doesn't matter. You're going to do it just to get where you're going. And then when you're on the ground and you're settled, then you're going to really start looking for what you really want to do and other opportunities you could have once you made the move. But first things first, I'm going to start your research and start your things.
She said she must be watching the show, man. She had to been watching the show. She just hit all she hit the one that we were just talking about. Bam.
Research,
Cost, visa,
and experience.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going to make a move in your life, you really research should be the first thing you start. And I like to tell Black folks, make sure you're doing research and you're looking for this, because our experiences are, globally are going to be different than anyone else's. And I think understanding that and getting advice from everybody, right? I'm not saying don't only get advice from other, people of color, or only from women. I'm just saying that taking a variety of, of sources for research, but make sure that you're also including research for people that look like you. People with similar backgrounds, maybe work in the same field. If you're working as a receptionist somewhere and you're thinking about leaving the United States, go on YouTube and see if there are any other global receptionists, global virtual assistants. What are their experiences like? Follow them on social media. Send them a message. They on TikTok, they respond to messages with videos, or just respond to messages. Send them a DM. Hey, I'm thinking about leaving. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm on Upwork, and I get offers on Upwork. People wanting me to make proposals for opportunities on Upwork, which is a remote, like a digital nomad.
You on Upwork?
Yeah, I am. And I've gotten requests to submit proposals for project management and other skills. So, take into account all the things that you can do, and man, take into account some of the things that you want to do. If there's something out there that you really want to do, maybe it's graphic design, maybe it's building websites, maybe it's UI UX design, whatever it is. If there's something that that you wanting to do, start looking for courses that you can take and start getting some experience. Start reaching out to family and friends who you can design things for, and build a portfolio that you can then put on Upwork and try to get some opportunities to do some of the things that you really want to do outside of what you do to pay the bills. And maybe that thing becomes the thing that pays your bills, that helps you stack up the money to move globally. And then you can do that somewhere else, So you really need to get lots of advice from lots of different sources, including us, and be realistic about your goals. Be realistic about your expectations. Don't get fooled. Do your research and go for it. You only got one life to live, so you might as well do it on your terms.
Yeah. Do you know a lot about Malika? Maybe I should try and.
What's the word? A lot.
Hunt her down. I saw something other than her TikTok, because I like reading the comments. Comments always give you a little bit.
Yes.
More. She said, "Is it okay to ask what made you come back?" So obviously she moved, but then she came back.
Yeah, she mentioned she did it twice.
I wonder why too. I know someone who moved to Costa Rica, her and her kids, but then she moved back. And I guess she was in Italy and Lebanon. Is where she moved. I've never been outside. We need to start asking people, do you have your passport, first of all?
No.
It's a lot of people that don't have their passports, especially Black and brown people.
Yeah, I'm working on somebody right now. They want to take a trip next year. Like, oh, I want to go on this place for my birthday. And I'm like, do you have your passport? And they're like, no. I'm like, I don't take people serious until they get their passport. Until then, it's just talk.
Right. Inflation is so high, we can't afford food and gas and housing days. No, we don't have the savings to leave. That's that's interesting.
What?
A lot of people think it's expensive to leave. Let's take the scenario of the girl. I mean, this girl says, teaching English.
Mm-hmm.
I know quite a few. It all depends on your situation. These people I'm talking about is single. 25, probably no bills or whatever, and you can move to Korea, Vietnam, I believe, and I know people living off of like $1,000 a month. You know,
Yeah.
so and if you Malika in the last part of her sentence, I mean her statement, she says, do the research, work on your savings. That probably went over a lot of people's head. Like a lot of people don't have money saved up. Because let's say if you move, let's say, okay, man, that's a great opportunity. Go to Korea, but you need a little starter money, to kind of get you through that gap.
Yeah.
You're moving, you're buying stuff. It's almost like you're moving off to college. You're gonna need to buy some new stuff, and you're gonna need just that little starter money to kind of once you're there, you kind of get your feet up under you and then you're going. But I know a lot of people who have come back, because I think they haven't done the research. Two, they haven't really like. You can really go somewhere for like 5 days and feel one way about a country,
Mm-hmm.
and then once living there, it's a whole different, it's a whole different story.
Yes.
So, take go there, rent something for like 6 months, stay there 6 months. Get through 2 seasons if they, kind of go back and forth, or rainy season, tropical season. I mean, a sunny season if you're in the Caribbean or something like that, South America. Um, because there's a lot of things that you will never see unless you live there.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're over an hour by 2 minutes. I appreciate you, Tiffany. Another great show. Hope this show was beneficial to the viewers here in the chat. Um, Final words for you, Tiff?
Look for some more content from Sports and Heels coming.
Oh yeah, people talking about they missing the content, man. Content.
Yeah, so we'll see more content. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna enjoy my trip, but I hope to get some interesting perspectives and some interesting things on this trip experiences. So I'll be sharing that with you all, and hopefully I don't have no problems with no flights and everything goes good. Travel season is kind of hectic right now in the U.S. So um, hope everybody's being safe. COVID numbers are going up and down and moving around. So everybody be safe, but look out for more stuff from Sports and Hills this week and in the coming days.
Cool. See if you can catch what's her name for us and do an interview with her.
What's her name?
What's the one from Texas? The fast girl. They got caught up with the marijuana thing.
She's not going to be there.
She's not going to be there.
She didn't make the team.
Oh, I thought she had like other opportunities to make the team. She
did. She didn't make the team.
Dang. Well, we still rooting for her, man. What was it? Sha'Carri, right? Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri. We still rooting on Sha'Carri, though. We're rooting for you, girl.
Yeah, no, she didn't make the team.
Dang. Well, can't win them all. But we win it with Matic Mondays. I'm gone. All right, Tiff.
Peace out, y'all.
On the celly. All right.
All right. Bye, guys.